welcome. You're watching the national debate. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Right at the outset, I would like to thank all of our viewers for your stupendous response to all the episodes that we've had on the national debate. I thank you for your viewership and hope you will always stay with us week after week. As we are counting down to the elections, the one issue that will possibly be a decider, in fact, which has brought the government under scrutiny and has the united opposition bringing a no-trust vote against them, is the violence in Manipur. Not only is the matter now in court, but there is on the floor of Parliament a no-trust motion that has been moved by the Congress and by the BRS, and opposition parties are also sending a fact-finding mission to the state of Manipur. How much of Manipur is going to be reflected in the results, in the campaign, in the theme for 2024? Joining us on the national debate today, we have Dr. Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, author Shantanu Gupta here with us, along with senior editor at Swaraj, Tushar Gupta. To my left, I have Ashutosh, senior journalist, joining us along with Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, and Dr. Naval Kishore, national spokesperson of the RJD. Dr. Ajay Alok, I'm going to start with you. There are few things that Indians do not tolerate. One is crimes against women. Two is human rights violation. Has Manipur, even if we leave aside the no-trust vote, has Manipur electorally dented the BJP? A stain that is going to be very difficult to shrug off in the run-up to the elections.
Well, the incidents in Manipur is definitely a stain, not only on the BJP, but on the ethos of India. It's not a matter of political concern that we should look everything from a political prism. As far as electoral prospect, you're saying, Padmaja, let me remind you that after 17, Biren Singh, under the Biren Singh, BJP again won Manipur elections. And in the second election, if you are winning, both have voted for BJP. We have almost trying to settle the solution, which is long old. See, this is a chronic problem. This ethnic clashes in Manipur is a chronic problem. And what happened in Manipur since May 4 is acute on chronic. So when you have acute on chronic problem, you need to stabilize the situation first. You need to have the healing touch. And then you think of solving the chronic problem, because chronic problem and chronic disease like diabetes, they don't end. You have to keep them in check and control and balances. And they have a history of around last 100 years of doing like that. Ethnic violence is a feature of Manipur, and that is because the continuous policy followed in the last 75 years of neglect. If you visit that Valenier Ryan's theory, when he was elected, he was appointed as a consultant to the Prime Minister to look after Manipur and the whole northeastern region. The policy of then government was towards the northeast is isolate, last and least. Since Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, the policy of this government has been look east first and fast. And that's what we have been doing. And look, see, the Naga problem is solved, Assam problem is solved. We are on the verge of finding the solution to the problem. What happened in the Manipur is really grievous. We condemn it to the highest end. And now the focus of the government is how to improve the situation, how to get peace and tranquility.
Okay, let's take this one by one. Ashutosh, this is a legacy problem. And to say that it is going to dent the BJP or the government would be a hyperbole.
Padmaja, if it is called as a legacy problem, then the BJP government is more in dock. For the simple reason, because if you knew that this is an issue and this is such a serious problem, then what was the government doing? Did government was on guard? No, it did not. Did government take any preemptive measure? No, it did not. Rather, when the crisis escalated, what did you decisively do? You did not do anything. I can understand, and it can be forgiven, if there is a law and order problem, if there is a civil war situation. You can't control on a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 7. But for 3 months, if it is continuing for 3 months, despite the most powerful and the popular prime minister in the last 30 years existing, supposed to deal crisis with iron hand, how can he let Manipur burn for 3 months, almost 3 months? What was he doing? If the chief minister was not acting, what action was taken? Was president rule imposed there? Was Article 356 invoked? Was the chief minister removed? Was anything done? If anything has been done and still the crisis is continuing, that means the Prime Minister has failed, double engine Sarkar has failed, a Chief Minister who should have been removed long back is continuing, speaks volume that the government was not interested in controlling the crisis.
So let me actually tell you some of the details that have been given by the government in its affidavit, which was filed before the Supreme Court. As far as whether it was prepared or not is concerned, they say that it happened out of the blue because on the 3rd of May 2023, after a tribal solidarity march was undertaken by the All Tribal Students Union of Manipur in opposition to the demand of inclusion of the Meitei community in the list of scheduled tribes, this call led to a counter response. Therefore, large-scale violence broke out. As far as the steps taken, they have actually listed out how you had multiple companies of the CRPF, Central Forces, being sent. And this, they say, happened on the 3rd of May 2023 itself, where 124 additional companies of Central Paramilitary Forces and 185 columns of the Army and Assam Rifles were sent in and are currently deployed.
That is more dangerous. That is more dangerous because you're absolutely clueless what amount of force was needed, what amount of action was needed, what has to be done. That means here is a government at the center, a government in the state who had absolutely no idea. You're putting force over there and still can't control. So I can't imagine a situation like this. I have never seen something like this. We blame Rajiv Gandhi for 1984 riot and should be blamed. We blamed Narendra Modi for Gujarat riots. It should be done. But on both the occasions, if you look at Modi claimed that in 3 days he controlled Gujarat riots. Sikh riots was probably took longer than that. This is the one crisis which is still continuing and where armory is looted. More than 6,000, more than 4,000 assault rifle machine guns were looted. More than 6 lakh bullets were looted. And every village there's got a bunker. Okay. And what is happening also further? That you are putting a drop box and asking militants to put gun over there. That means there is no...
Actually, they're not even militants, they are civilians.
No,
that is the bigger problem. These are civilians who've got automatic guns.
Whosoever. Yes. First of all, how can you allow armory to be looted? That means a state ceases to exist.
Okay. Answer this, Shantanu Gupta. Government is saying, we did this, this and this. And despite that, now the situation is not under control. Hence, the opposition says, no trust.
See, situation in Manipur is
and since we're talking about the national debate, the core of the BJP's campaign, double engine, now that is going to be scrutinized.
The situation in Manipur is almost very, very unfortunate. But I think we have to see that Ashutosh quoted various cases, various states. Every state, every community is very different. As Alokji said, Meitei, Kuki, Naga combinations, if you read history, it's going on for the last 100 years. But you yourself pointed out, will BJP fail an electoral issue around that? I think people will see how a government is dealing with it. Because they have seen the history anyways, right? How a previous government dealt with it, how a Congress government dealing with similar situation, maybe in Karnataka or Rajasthan. People are watching everything, right? So I think people will see with this lens that clashes are happening. Clashes happened before. Clashes happened before this chief minister, but how they are dealing with it. I think no confidence motion, a bunch of people who lost their political ground. I think this is looking like their way of whenever parliament will come, they will find some issue. I'm not saying this is a frivolous issue. Yesterday or 2 days back, we are hearing Prime Minister is saying, in my third term, I am making India third biggest economy. And what we are seeing in opposition, anything, just I can dislodge Modi. I'm not seeing any vision in here. It's against Manipur, but whenever opposition talking, I'm not finding any mission, any vision there. Their fact-finding committee is going there, and they will again come back with 3 political points.
You may talk about a lack of vision, but this is a very potent issue. How are you going to say that they do not have any issue? That's why they're picking it up. If 150 people have died, 150 plus people have died, houses have been burnt, naturally the opposition will pick it up. Naturally, it will become an election issue because it's not just about Manipur. It is, like I said, about failure of governance and failure of what is called double engine.
I think people will again see such clashes are happening multiple times in that part of India, and how this government and previous government had dealt in similar situations, similar part. Okay. And I think that's how they're going to look at it.
Past handling by past governments is going to be seen by people. If we're talking about elections, public memory is not that short. They are going to be told, look, 70s also there was violence when Nagas and Kukis were fighting. In the 90s also, in the 2000s also, in the Congress government also. तब क्या handling थी, अब क्या handling है, it's before you. You decide whether double engine has worked or not.
You know, there is two important points which must be looked in a context. One, that comparing Manipur with law and order situation across the country in different states is, I think, it is going against the feeling of oneness, that is nationalism itself. What Manipur is feeling with collective and mass killings, there cannot be similar feeling in other states of simple law and order. It can have its own importance. That's, I don't deny that the government also have role to play and they can also be questioned. But comparing these two cases is, I think, the most disastrous point that BJP is going to take. And that is the reason why it is not done by one person. Even the Prime Minister of India is also taking the similar view. When questions are being asked on Manipur, he is talking about India, which is formed as a coalition, as an alliance against him. He is trying to malign that attempt and answering in those terms that quit India what? Quit corruption, quit this, quit that. Calling that alliance as East India Company or Indian Mujahideen, I think that is ridiculous in such a situation where country is looking for. So there I think that it is going to dent BJP much, and that is the reason why opposition party have asked for trust motion within the parliament, because there he will not have to look this side or that side, and he cannot say that Home Minister will answer, Defense will answer, and External Minister will answer. If you look at Manipur, it has all the aspect. Internal security, it also has geopolitics significance, it also has the neighboring
Sure,
state.
which is why if you leave aside Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan comparison, I'm saying just look at Manipur. The government is saying, look, it is a legacy issue. We've had problems. We are dealing with it. So did the past governments, and they did not deal with it.
No, that's not correct. Being silent on that issues. Outside the parliament, within the parliament, by the Prime Minister is not the similar way that has been done in the past 70 or 80 years. It is simply ditching the people of Manipur, being the double engine government. Here, the government has not applied 356. That is one of the most fundamental questions that the country of people of
But
the country
Amit Shah said on Thursday that far from being silent, the Prime Minister has been in constant touch. Nityanand Rai was sent for over a month to stay put in Imphal. 12 rounds of talks have taken place, and continuously the centre is looking at what's happening in Manipur.
No, but the people of India also understand that what is the round of talk. In case of the farmer protest, there were, I think, 16 round of talks. What happens after 1 year? 700 farmers got killed. And after that, one fine morning, Prime Minister comes and says that, I'm sorry, I'm withdrawing this bill. That cannot be done here. It is,
what should be done here? So just out of curiosity, what is the path forward suggested by Team India? Are you saying that a separate state should be made as is being demanded?
No, not at all. Who will say? No, not even a single Indian will say that. But confidence building is first.
So they are saying 12 rounds of talks we've done.
Manipur people should understand that if anybody is coming, suppose tomorrow the delegates from India Alliance is going, they are going to have a feel of the problem. And we are questioning, how can you go there?
No, they're not. They're saying, "Ab jaiye."
No. The way they are responding, that he said that they will come with their political point. They are not going for political points.
Tomorrow.
No. They are not going for political points.
Tomorrow just see the tweets of all of them.
I think let
Guarantee
Tushar
you from
Gupta
there.
respond to this. Yes, because he hasn't spoken yet.
Yeah, the last point that I would like to make, that in such a situation where the society is wounded, there is mass killings, there are genocidal intent, anyone as a political party or an individual should be concerned about the peace in Manipur. And that is the intent of opposition also. When they wanted Prime Minister to give a statement in the parliament, that was the intent. It was not intent anything else.
Okay, sir, again, here a small cross question on the language. When you said there is genocidal intent, you're saying that this is a genocide of who by who?
No.
See, again, this is a political language, right? You say it's genocide is happening there.
See, if there is a killing of mass killing type, what will you call it?
Because it is
It is
a
ethnic
tribal
clash.
conflict.
And what is ethnic clash?
It's a tribal conflict.
Different from a genocidal intent. You cannot confuse the two things. You are taking this language very conveniently. Either you call it an ethnic clash or you call it a genocidal intent, sir. You cannot mix up the two things.
No,
Padmaja, I'll put the thing straightforward here. The opposition is refusing to acknowledge or to understand what really is going on in Manipur. For them, this has become a political slugfest, an opportunity to use against the BJP in 2024. Now, should the Chief Minister resign? we can argue about it. But should the chief minister be resigning when two groups are warring against each other? What kind of a message it will send to the ground? The opposition wants peace-building efforts, confidence-building measures. But at the same time, they want the chief minister to resign, irrespective of how the message will be perceived on the ground. Number two, they keep talking about the number of people who have been unfortunately killed, that the government has not done enough. Will they also speak about the 2,500 people who have been arrested in drug trade between 2017 and 2023? Will they talk about the crackdown the current chief minister in Manipur has ushered against the entire drug lobby? Will they acknowledge that there are arms being supplied from Myanmar and there is a geopolitical angle, as acknowledged by my previous panelist, that was also prevalent in 2011 when there were reports of the Chinese supplying weapons to some insurgent groups in Manipur? They will absolutely not. They are not willing to acknowledge the core of the problem, which is the BJP's crackdown against the entire drug lobby in that state, which is being funded by China and Myanmar. And that was the case during the Congress reign as well. You can dig up the news reports. But they want to make it a political opportunity in the run-up to 24. Padmaja, this also reminds me of a Congress post from Twitter from day before yesterday, where they had shared an image on their Twitter handle saying that when Nirbhaya happened, the entire city of Delhi was on the roads crowding before Rashtrapati Bhavan, and today no one is there. Look, we have a serious problem in Manipur. No one can run away from the fact that BJP has a serious problem to solve in Manipur, but you cannot also deny that people trust BJP to solve this problem. And I have a counter question to the opposition representatives here as well. On June 25th, Amit Shah chaired an all-party meeting where spokespersons from the Congress, the former chief minister of Manipur, and an RJD spokesperson put forward their concerns. At that time, there was no such demand that the Prime Minister must speak to us. Today in the Parliament, when the opposition should be asking tough questions to the centre, they should be suggesting some measures, they are tangling themselves up in needless bureaucracy. We want to debate on rule this, we want to debate on rule that. Then if everything else fails, they go for a no confidence motion. If that also fails, you have Sanjay Singh sitting on a protest. Padmaja, my simple question is, if you can meet the Home Minister for an all-party meet on the issue of Manipur in June, in July and August, why can't you have a discussion in all seriousness with the government?
More than concern, this is politics and you're looking for ways to prolong the political attack using Manipur.
Good evening, Padmaja, to you, the viewers, and my fellow co-panelists. The big question that nation wants to know, is the Prime Minister toothless, tongueless, powerless, voiceless? A year back, the Prime Minister said that elect BJP because it will be a double-engine sarkar that will give 25 years of peace to Manipur. 37 MLAs from BJP. Many of them are now injured, one paralyzed, and they have been camping in Delhi and outside to meet the Prime Minister. The Indian Prime Minister would have visited over 10 countries across 3 continents, would have visited over 10 states in India itself, has done election rallies, has attended cultural programs, has given lectures to BJP MPs outside, but has spent only 37 seconds on Manipur. So the question remains that this is the first Prime Minister in the history of India, or probably any democratic country, where a no confidence motion is there because the Prime Minister does not have a courage when he has a thumping majority to walk into the Parliament and speak. This Prime Minister, who has seen in these 3 months the governor of Manipur being helpless. The newspapers every day report, just yesterday, the report is 15-16 people killed. The number of ammunition looted, this is Economic Times, talking about 4,000, allow me to complete. Just look at the chronology of event. The in charge of Manipur is Sambit Patra, a spokesperson of BJP who has taught nationalism to the entire nation, telling how powerful the leadership of the Prime Minister is. In this time, tell me one BJP member of parliament, including the one from Manipur itself, who has sought for peace in the state. Has any chief minister of BJP?
Like I just said, you've had the Home Minister himself saying that the MOS home is sitting in Imphal. He was sent there for 80 days. He was sitting there. That the Prime Minister is keeping track of what's happening. They have got a special advisor.
It is not a cricket match.
They've got a special advisor.
It does not matter.
There.
It is not a cricket match. The newspapers today report that the Home Minister of India is now in charge of election rallies. What is more important? In Manipur, allow me to complete. What is more important? In Manipur, a freedom fighter's wife, 80-year-old, was burnt alive. Did anyone from BJP speak to their kin in Manipur?
Okay.
That two women, the newspapers report today that they are investigating how the video was shot. They are not investigating why the National Commission for Women sat on that video, that FIR. They are not investigating
No, that's not true, actually. That's not true, actually, Mr. Tiwari. They are investigating the crime, and that's why the phone has been taken.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Tell me, in this time when the FIR was lodged, NCW was sitting, what was Smriti Irani doing? Here is a case where a Kargil warrior is saying that I could defend my country, but I could not defend my wife. The problem of BJP, what you mentioned as out of the blue. Out of the blue is the video came out and the Prime Minister is now accountable to the entire nation, and
So what is your question?
such shamelessness of this government and the Prime Minister saying that the nation is angry. I am outraged and the nation is shamed with this. No, you have shamed the nation. The nation must be angry.
Okay, but what's your question?
The question
How can the PM?
Question is the Prime Minister toothless, voiceless, powerless, or is just shameless?
Can I come in? Can I come in?
Let Mr. Ajay Alok respond to this.
I have listened to all the three panelists very patiently without interrupting them for a single second, except for this moment when he said that the Prime Minister has ashamed the nation. In all their statements, did you find a single line that should be the approach of the government towards giving a solution? No. What all the three approach were? BJP failure, Prime Minister failure, Prime Minister toothless, Prime Minister doing nothing, Prime Minister responsible, double engine failure. What is your narrative? Your narrative is to just put the BJP in dock. Your narrative is not Manipur. That's what I'm saying. This is the political opportunity you're trying to find, which you will fail.
Ashutosh.
Prime Minister is the leader of the nation. If there is a crisis in the nation, the Prime Minister has to speak. It's simple. World over. It's not only that India.
He spoke.
When demonetization was happening, he addressed to the nation. When the lockdown was to happen, he addressed to the nation. When the Manipur was happening.
On TV, not on the Parliament.
Let me
He spoke on TV.
Let me complete.
For that become 36
For
seconds.
demonetization, you can address to the nation. For a small thing, you are addressed to the nation. This crisis of this proportion, and Prime Minister is silent. I can understand. See, I can understand.
He's saying that should the Prime Minister talk when there was widespread violence in Bengal?
Forget about the opposition.
Forget about the opposition. The opposition is creating all the political opportunity out of this.
BJP MLAs.
No, hold on. Why forget the opposition?
Let me complete. I didn't disturb anybody.
It's not a shouting match.
What about more than a dozen BJP MLAs who flew down from Imphal to the Delhi and they came in and said, remove the Chief Minister? A BJP MLA said the Chief Minister is hand in glove with the military.
But Ashutoshi, here's the thing. The elephant in the room is, and what the government is conceding at this point, that, and you speak to most of the security personnel who are deployed there, they will say one thing, that right now there is no MLA, there is no policeman, there is only communities. People are reacting as communities, not as MLA.
India and the Manipur wants to know when the peace will happen. You are taking n number of this. I'm not discounting the government is not taking action.
Since the 18th of July,
why there is no peace?
Since the 18th of July,
are failing.
Since the 18th of July, there has been no killing. Since the 18th of July,
yesterday
internet has been partially lifted.
No, that is not true. That is not true. People are
Just today.
My only submission is, I'm not saying the government is not taking action. I'm saying government is failing because government is clueless, doesn't know what to do.
Okay, before you ask a question, let Tushar respond.
What people are now perceiving is the entitlement of the opposition. You requested for a discussion in the Parliament, the government conceded. Now you are in the opposition. This is not even a coalition government. How can you dictate how the discussion will happen? Who should speak? Who should not speak? Your job as the opposition. Hold on.
According to the rule.
No, as the opposition, your job is to ask the questions, not tell the government how the questions are to be asked. You're not even asking the questions. And sir, you said that the Prime Minister should speak on Manipur. Should the Prime Minister also speak on Bengal? Because then your alliance will have a problem.
Obviously.
Because then the Congress alliance will have a problem.
On record, I'm saying this. If there is
He also spoke on Manipur. He also spoke on Manipur.
He spoke about Rajasthan.
He also spoke on Manipur.
did
He
that,
also
and
spoke
that
on
is how
Manipur.
he is trying to
Why?
display.
Okay, if you
Tushar,
wanted
if
the
there is a
Prime Minister to
crisis-
speak,
if
why
there is
did
a
you meet the
crisis
Home
in
Minister
Bengal,
in
the
all
Prime
party
Minister
meeting?
should speak.
Why did you meet the
Because
Home
he's the
Minister
leader of
in
the
all
nation.
party
Okay,
meeting?
then this seems to be counterintuitive.
So you can meet
you
the Home
remember,
Minister
you
when
remember,
the
just a
Parliament
second.
Parliament
You
is in
remember,
session, the Prime Minister has to speak.
ironically, 2 years ago, it was on the 2nd of May only that post-poll violence started in West Bengal. Are you expecting that the Prime Minister will stand up in Parliament and say, this is what is happening in Bengal? It was a state issue. It was a law and order issue, but a horrible crime
can I
happened.
intervene?
And that is why the
Can
Prime
I
Minister
intervene?
made one
Can I
statement.
intervene?
Yes.
Since TN Session, when he became the Chief Election Commissioner, the election killings came down drastically. If in West Bengal, if more than 50 people are killed, is it not the responsibility of the Prime Minister to question?
Panchayat
Obviously, he has to
polls.
question.
But then the TMC will say that you have killed federalism.
Let me come back. Padmaja,
Come on.
I'm saying this. But don't compare the Bengal killing with the Manipur.
Because the government is different.
It's a civil war. It's a civil war.
Don't compare. Don't
And they are
compare.
trying to
No.
sidetrack this.
This is political bankruptcy to compare Manipur with any other state.
Padmaja, don't compare.
No.
Why? Because Mamata Banerjee is
Exactly, because Mamata Banerjee is alliance. Don't compare anything. Don't compare anything with West Bengal
You have a
alliance.
moral
Because
bankruptcy.
the double engine government has failed,
No,
it is
what happened in
immoral,
Bengal?
it is mentally bankruptcy to compare other states with
In Manipur, at least the government is acknowleding there is a problem.
government is not
Okay,
acknowledging.
one at a time,
Not
Government is
listening, not listening.
One at a time.
Everybody
How do you say
knows.
that the
The
government
whole
is not
country knows.
acknowledging?
Therefore, he
What
has
proof do you have that the government is not acknowledging? Do you have any actual sensible point to
Only
make?
because
How
of that.
can you prove that the government is not acknowledging the problem?
Prime Minister Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh and Manipur.
Okay, both of
Prime
Mr.
Minister
Gupta
will
on my
acknowledge there's a crisis in
extreme
Bengal.
direction. Please just give me 30 seconds. Shantanu Gupta and then Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Padmaja, I think my friends in the left have already exposed themselves by saying Bengal should not be discussed, Bengal should not be compared with anything because the political combination is not working. The only solution they have offered, all knowledgeable person, CM should resign and Prime Minister should speak. You told Nityanand, he said, no, that doesn't matter. HM is calling all party meetings, no, doesn't matter. 12 rounds are up, that doesn't matter. Prime Minister should speak, not for 37 seconds. He should meet for 2 minutes in Parliament, left and right, from camera from there. That's all. Prime Minister should speak in a fashion they want to speak. Prime Minister should speak in a fashion that Ashutosh wants him to speak. Parliament should, and Chief Minister should resign. And Chief Minister should resign. That's the only solution they have.
To that,
No other solution.
Who speaks at the drop of a hat on
So
TV
to
channel.
that,
This
there is a
crisis
past
of-
precedent that when the Naga Kuki fights were happening in the same state, at that time, to date, one statement has been made, and that was made while Parliament was in session by the MOS Home of the time. Not even the Home Minister. Right now, Home Minister Amit Shah is saying, I am going to reply to the debate. But at that time, when the Naga Kuki fights were happening, the
Then
MOS
make Amit Shah the
Home
Prime
made a
Minister.
statement.
He must,
What for the Prime Minister is there?
Minister, don't
Then
yes,
your
your
alliance is
Prime Minister
there.
coming to power.
Why is the Prime Minister there?
Obviously,
He's one of
because
the next potential candidates.
I am-
Your
Prime
alliance is
Minister-
coming
I am
Prime
to
Minister is the
power.
leader of the nation. Prime Minister is the leader of the house.
Exactly, sir.
If he will not speak when the crisis is so
Exactly,
grave,
sir.
then
There was a
that means-
Congress government at that
means the
time.
Prime Minister
It did
will
not make a statement.
Padmaja.
MOS Home made a statement.
Padmaja, then that means the Prime Minister will never speak, because when the agrarian crisis, the agriculture minister will speak. When the industrial
is how
crisis,
democracy
the finance
functions.
minister will
Exactly.
speak.
That
Then
is how
the
democracy
revenue
functions.
minister will
Okay,
speak.
quick rebuttal, Ajay Alok, then
Prime Minister will
Ghanshyam.
never speak.
I have only 2 points to make. First, Navalji said the discussion should be on Rule 276. That's the opposition demand. Sir, 276 very clearly... 267 clearly says that the reply has to be given by the concerned minister, for which you are not ready, for which you want the Prime Minister. You are contradicting yourself, number one. Number two, Ashutosh, you remember 2012? We had a discussion when there was an economic blockade of 3 months, right, between Kuki and Naga. And to remove that blockade, Congress Chief Minister Biren Singh gave a theory called Kuki Nation. We debated on that. You were very critical of Biren Singh then, that why Kuki Nation if you want to disintegrate? What is happening now? You know the whole story. And now you are acting like a double standard.
You also know in
Now you are acting on a double standard. It's your debate.
In 1993, when there is a crisis,
1993,
the
then
Congress
3.5 hours
government-
visit
Congress
by
government
MOS
sacked their own
Rajesh
chief minister.
Pilot.
No, sack their own chief minister. When one model
1993,
fails, your president-
1993, 18 minutes.
solve the Manipur problem.
They said
Padmaja, a simple question. How does sacking the chief minister solve the problem in Manipur?
Let me take that question. Just a second. Let me take that question. Please, I think we should look for
That is not how
answers.
it works. This is not Alice in Wonderland.
I think we should look for
Tushar, tell me
answers.
one thing.
Otherwise, we are
How
just
many
going to
months
be...
you need to prove that this chief minister is incompetent?
Okay.
Tell me the date.
Ashutosh, please ask.
Only the date. How many months you have to be burnt to realize that chief minister is incompetent, inefficient, and
Please ask
doesn't
Ashutosh.
know how to handle
We
it.
have many questions. I think we should also wait for people to answer those questions. The straight questions, and please answer the question. Is the demand to sack the chief minister a weapon to destabilize a state which is already in the throes of strife between two communities?
A BJP MLA says that chief minister is involved. There are enough reports on the media talking about a person who leads a militia who's attached to the chief minister, connected with the chief minister.
It's an allegation.
Yes, enough reports, I said.
BJP leader.
Allow me.
On MLA.
So the governor has made
Pramod Singh is not a BJP leader.
Let us not. Allow me to complete.
He's alleging.
Please. BJP MLA allegations against the chief minister. There are enough reports in the media linking the militia who's leading this entire operation with the chief minister. There are reports of chief minister's torn resignation letters out there. The governor is saying, I am helpless. She's saying on television that I am helpless. Please allow me to complete. Now we are saying that we don't know whether Prime Minister is toothless, helpless, powerless, shameless. We don't know all that. But he is not supposed to enter the parliament and respond. I want to ask these three gentlemen who have talked over us often. Two things. One is when there's a no confidence motion in
So just to-
allow me.
Just a second. Just to be clear, you are saying that the solution right now is to sack the chief minister.
Sack the chief minister. Prime minister should go there and build peace. What
Prime
kind
Minister
of
should build
why
peace.
cannot? Are we saying that our prime minister is so powerless
Their alliance
that
is optics,
please allow
the solutions
please
are optics.
don't interject. Please don't interject.
Their alliance
Our
is
prime
optics.
minister-
Their alliance is
our
optics.
prime
The
minister-
solution is
our
optics.
prime minister is so helpless that he can go to Manipur and say,
Mr. Tiwari, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's put some facts out there.
You cannot allow me to complete a sentence. Then what's the point?
Let's
This
put
is not
some
a
facts
happy
out
man.
there.
Let us allow me to complete a
Gentlemen,
sentence. Allow me to complete a sentence.
Let me
One
make a
sentence.
10-second
One sentence,
interjection.
please.
10-second
Please.
interjection. You are saying that the Prime Minister should himself land in Manipur and sit there. Sir, surely you have run a government.
Allow me to complete.
You don't think that's how things are done?
Do you
Tomorrow
think?
they will tell
Allow me to
Prime
complete.
You have a
This is not
special
anything that
advisor.
we are-
Okay, just a second,
We
just
are
a second.
disrespectful
Just a
to the
second.
viewers if you guys continue to heckle.
Exactly.
Please.
So 10 seconds, if you just let me finish. There is a special advisor who is right now an instrument of the center, who is keeping an eye on what is happening in addition to the special forces. You don't think that's enough? You think the PM's personal presence is required?
Three
Go on.
sentences. Three sentences.
Yes.
It is not the special advisor. It is not Biren Singh. It is not Amit Shah who stood there in front of the people and said, vote for me. Ek akela. Vote for me and I'll give you peace for 25 years. Who promised that? Just a year back. Just a year back. Just
So,
allow me to.
sir,
That's first
sir-
sentence. Please don't interrupt. Please. That's first sentence. Second.
You know,
That we are
Tiwari,
saying. We are
Mr.
saying.
Tiwari,
I said three
minutes into the
sentences. I said three
debate,
sentences.
and these three
Second.
gentlemen cannot
Let
come
him
together
get
with
finished,
even
but
three
three
solutions.
sentences only. I'm
Yes,
giving you 30
second.
seconds. I promise I'll come to you.
Second, we are saying that a chief minister who has allegations to be hand in glove with this militia.
Okay, you
Why
have
he
points.
right?
Next.
Should not resign. Yes, he should not resign. And
No,
third,
if you want to go by allegations, the Manipur Regional Party has written to Rahul Gandhi saying that the Congress is responsible.
Don't be.
No, if you want to go by allegations, go by all the allegations.
This is disrespectful. This is disrespectful
But
to
sir,
the viewers.
last
But you're going by
sentence,
one-sided
last point.
allegations. Go by all allegations.
Don't be disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being factual.
To the viewer.
Tushar,
You are disrespectful to the viewer.
I'll give you time. Yes.
In a country where 1,000 cases against women happen every day, 100 rapes every day. You tell me one day when Uttar Pradesh doesn't have rape, to say that a state that has completely failed has to be compared with Bengal just because BJP can do water battery, or should be compared with Bihar, or should be compared with Uttar Pradesh? That is nonsense. The chief minister should enter the parliament, take the stage, respond to the nation. And the prime minister should enter the parliament, take the stage and respond to the nation.
Okay, I will give Tushar Gupta and Ajay Alok both time to respond to this. But sir, let me just put on record that as somebody whose party has been in government, you yourself know that is not the way governance functions. Yes, even your chief minister went to the people and said कि उत्तर प्रदेश को मैं उत्तम प्रदेश बना दूंगा, उसको एकदम सिंगापुर बनाऊंगा. But that didn't necessarily mean कि जब मुजफ्फरनगर में दंगे हो रहे थे वो खुद वहां बैठे थे नहीं बैठे थे ना नहीं बैठे थे it's not but that's just pointing out that is not the way governance happens.
Prime Minister can speak in US Congress.
Not even a standard of Ghanshyam Tiwari. Akhilesh Yadav is not even a standard of Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Okay. So that is just to point out the fallacy in that argument that PM asked for votes, so PM should be sitting right now in Imphal and personally holding a gun and patrolling the streets.
Exactly.
But that's a little strange. But anyway, Tushar Gupta I think wanted to first make a point and then Dr. Ajay Alok. Yes.
My
30
worry
seconds,
is we have a very sensitive situation in Manipur. In the last 30 minutes, 3 of these gentlemen here have not even come up with 3 solutions. The solution is either to resign or to sack the government. What they do not understand is that the sensitive situation on the ground, and if you fire the chief minister, if you sack the chief minister right now, what kind of a message it could send? Could it aggravate the situation? They are not ready to debate any of it. They want to ask all the hard questions.
That the chief minister who has failed to control
are you willing to push the state further into a crisis for your tactics? No, are you willing to push state further into a crisis to further your agenda?
In the eye of BJP leadership, that even if he fails for 3 complete months, he will not be sacked. What kind of argument? What kind of then continue?
No, so you are okay with this getting further pushed into a crisis for your tactics?
Blatant argument.
This is an article.
Okay, sir, let him finish.
No, if you want to go by allegations, hold on. You were talking about allegations. A regional party in Manipur has written an open letter to Rahul Gandhi blaming the Congress for the crisis.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Why? If the allegations of the BJP MLA, those allegations mean nothing. Are you dismissing the interest of a regional party in Manipur? Are you dismissing the interest of the regional party in Manipur? Are you dismissing the concerns of a regional party in Manipur? Are you dismissing the concerns highlighted by the regional party in Manipur? They're blaming the Congress for the crisis.
Is being raised by whole opposition. You are not ready to
They are
decide.
raising the concern
Not
against
ready
the
to
opposition.
You are not ready to
They are raising the
discuss.
concern against Congress.
He is saying
Are
that
you
the
listening
regional
to
party
yourself?
is saying Congress is responsible for the strike.
The regional party has written a letter to Rahul Gandhi.
I'm just, here is a BJP MLA called Polinal Hoike. Chief Minister is hand in glove. This is not by me. This is not by Samajwadi Party.
Because his community is the one that
I'm
is
not
fighting
worried.
with the
He's a
community
BJP
that
MLA.
Biren Singh
No.
belongs to.
What do you mean community?
Okay,
that means
BJP MLA will not worry about the regional Manipur
MLAs,
party.
more than a dozen MLAs
Very
do not
convenient.
trust.
Can I come in?
And these are the BJP MLAs.
Okay.
Who has
Your own
created this situation?
MLAs. Your own MLAs are saying.
My own MLA. Accept. So, if one of you MLAs starts saying in my party that dismiss the chief minister, take a minute. Let me complete. I'll just have a logic for you also, sir. That dismiss the chief minister is hand in gloves. We should do that. Agreed to you. So why don't you start doing it first in Rajasthan, where in the floor of the house the Congress MLAs and ex-minister goes to the speaker and says, this is the red diary, I want to submit it in the house, but you just pounce on him and you snatch the red diary. He's clearly cut anything in the house, floor of the house.
Are you trying to compare Rajasthan with?
Whoa. When you try to compare everything, it's fine. If your MLA says that your chief minister is corrupt,
basically
accused of distributing 500 crores, then it's fine. You won't
Rajasthan
and it's my MLA right, sir. And my MLA in the backdrop of
God said do not do this.
In the backdrop
God said don't do this.
You don't do this. You don't do this.
Not a spare
Sir, law and order and human life, you will agree, is equally precious across the country. Let us not compare Rajasthan because that is an allegation of corruption. Tell me, Ghanshyam Tiwari, because you are all in the India Alliance, let's talk specifically again about West Bengal. Let's not even talk about panchayat elections. Let's talk about the post-poll violence that happened there 2 years ago. The Calcutta High Court said that instead of the rule of law, this state is seeing the law of the ruler. Why is it that, and what happened? Murders happened. Murders happened on camera. A BJP worker. Now, surely you will not suggest that his life was less precious because he was a BJP worker. He was murdered on camera while he was weeping, saying, yesterday they killed my dogs. Today they are going to come for me. A 60-year-old woman had to go to the Supreme Court to have her testimony recorded by the West Bengal police. Why? Because she was told, you are a liar, you have not been gang raped. At that time, going by this logic, should the chief minister have stepped down taking moral responsibility, or should she now be sitting in Bengaluru saying, Rahul ji is my favorite and I suggested the name India?
What we are saying is chief minister should be sacked. He has already tendered his resignation.
Bengal?
The chief,
West Bengal.
allow me,
West Bengal.
please don't heckle.
Ghanshyam,
That
no,
we are
I'm
saying with
heckling.
respect to Manipur that the chief minister.
She asked the question about West Bengal, so West Bengal chief minister should be sacked. Come on.
These guys
Why are they heckling? Why are they heckling?
BJP is behaving in this country. Are the 3% behaving in a similar way? This is what BJP PM, BJP PM, एकदम आपने सही दिखाया, डिस्क्राइब करना पड़ेगा।
आपने ये कैसे मान लिया कि जवाब मांगने का हक सिर्फ आपको है? हम नहीं जवाब मांग सकते आपसे।
जवाब मांगने का हक तो पूरी जनता को है, मांग सकती है, लेकिन जवाब देने के लिए जब आपसे पूछा जाएगा
सुनेंगे,
तो आप कहीं भागेंगे,
सुन नहीं पाएंगे।
आप सवाल का जवाब कभी नहीं देंगे।
मैं जवाब दूं?
प्राइम मिनिस्टर
Okay, gentlemen, I request everyone to be quiet. But Mr. Tiwari, I'm trying to protect you from being heckled.
No, I'm answering
but stick
that.
to the
West
topic.
Bengal.
I'm answering that. I'm saying.
West Bengal.
you are not able to control the
Sir,
hecklers.
I am behaving like the speaker and I'm trying very hard to protect
Yes, you
your
are trying.
rights.
The government is also trying very hard, but not able to control Manipur.
just-
This is the reality.
Let me answer. Very
Why
straightforward.
did nobody's
In-
conscience
there
pick
is-
them to seek the resignation
there
of the
is-
Chief Minister of West Bengal?
There is no
Simple
sta-
question.
There is no state
Why
there is no state that has seen a situation where the governor is saying that she's
Obsessive
helpless,
compulsive
where
process.
the chief minister
Again,
has
back
been
to
accused.
Manipur.
Allow me to
Governor
complete.
of West Bengal.
Allow me to complete.
Governor
Half
in
a
West
sentence.
Bengal.
The
Half a
West
sentence.
Bengal
आप अखबार
governor
पढ़ते
said,
पूरी एक बात
Half
तो
a sentence.
पढ़िए।
Allow me to complete. Allow me
the
to
West
complete.
Bengal governor
Allow me to
said.
complete. Allow me to complete. I'm listing down.
Calcutta High Court said, West Bengal governor said.
Allow me to complete.
No rule of law.
Allow me to complete. That
Manipur.
the session, the assembly is not in session.
Governor Manipur.
Let's compare Manipur and assembly not in session. Chief Minister's resignation is floating
Question
around.
on West Bengal, answer on Manipur.
Here is
This is obsessive compulsive process.
Let him finish.
Here is a
Let him
This
finish.
is obsession.
Here is a comparison.
This is obsession.
Here is a
Dr. Ajay,
comparison.
okay.
Here's a
Read medicine.
Here is a
Medicine.
comparison.
Medicine
Here is a
required.
comparison that Chief Minister
West Bengal.
has been accused of being
Manipur.
hand in glove by his own MLAs, right? The governor is saying she is helpless. There is no function of the state in the entire state. Tell me 1 week where this happened in Bengal. You
I
are
am
saying
telling you.
that happened in a violence. But
After the 2nd of May for 1 month.
No.
For
Did
1 month
the police did not
violence
function? Was
Yes.
police?
That is what the NHRC report said. Sir, you need to read your newspaper more carefully.
Tushar, you
No, you are discounting the fact. You are saying that the thing that will happen in Bengal. Have you read the NHRC report? Have you read the NHRC report on postal violence in Bengal? Have you read the NHRC report on postal violence in Bengal?
Don't heckle.
Have you read the postal violence report by
You've been heckling
NHRC?
right
Yes
from the
or
beginning.
no?
Don't heckle.
No, you are
Don't heckle.
discounting the
Please
facts.
don't heckle.
You are
Please
discounting
don't
the
heckle.
facts.
Okay.
Please
You
don't
are
heckle.
conveniently
Please don't
discounting the
heckle.
facts.
20 seconds
Please don't
left
heckle.
in 20
Please don't heckle. This is nonsense. You cannot heckle every statement.
How
I'm
can you
making.
discount the
Speak in your
NHRC
time.
report of
Speak
Bengal
in your
postal
time.
violence?
Don't heckle.
Okay, I think-
Speak in your time.
Do you have an
Do not
answer?
heckle.
Do you have an
Do not
answer?
heckle. You
Do
are
you
not.
have an
You have to
answer?
speak in your
You don't
time.
have an
Do not
answer.
heckle.
I think it is quite clear that whenever some questions are asked about what happens in this state versus this state, this is exactly the trajectory that the conversation is going to take.
Can I ask
So
you
let
a
me.
simple question?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
You must have done n number of debate in West Bengal. Have you done that?
Yes.
Huh? Discuss threadwear?
Yes.
Can't we discuss Manipur?
We are discussing.
No, but we are more talking about West Bengal.
No.
We are more, no. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Let's debate Manipur.
The last
Let's
30
debate
minutes,
Manipur.
we have spoken
And no other-
5 minutes
No.
as a question
No.
about
But
why
because
you
no
will
other
not be concerned.
the situation, no, in no other
Not at
state
all.
there is a civil war-like situation.
It's a
No
civil
other
war.
state in independent India like this.
Okay.
And we are discussing West Bengal, we are
is it?
discussing Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, not Manipur.
Okay, you are
In
saying-
which state there are bunkers made in every village?
are not
In which
discussing
state the
Manipur,
armory is
honestly,
looted?
even that.
In which state the women's are paraded?
You are
naked
not
and the people
discussing
are
West
touching the
Bengal,
constitution?
Ashutosh, West
Which-
Bengal.
In which state?
The answer
In
to your
which
question
state?
is West
So
Bengal.
they want to divert the issue from Manipur to West Bengal, shamelessly doing it. And
Which is the party that is not asking the questions in the parliament, Ashutosh? Ashutosh, which is the party that is not asking questions in the parliament? Which is the party that is not asking the questions in the parliament? Which is the alliance that is running away from a discussion? Ashutosh, which is the alliance which is running away from a discussion?
Okay.
Which is the alliance that is running away
It's a
from
shame
a
that you are trying to
discussion?
divert. It's a shame.
Okay.
I'll tell you what is shameful. I'll tell you what.
Shame to be here.
Do you have? If you are ashamed to be here, leave.
Manipur, if you're comparing Manipur with other states,
We are not comparing. We are asking facts.
shameful. I'm not telling you from my heart.
Let's
Shameful.
not get into a personal slandering
no, I'm
match.
not getting into
One,
personal.
two, we are comparing the preciousness of every human
Exactly.
life as it should be compared, and of law and order and the responsibility of the
This
state.
is a way to confuse the situation.
Okay, no, it is not.
Yes,
It is not.
if you compare, it is only
not.
intention is to confuse.
Because, no.
Nothing else.
No, sir.
Nothing else.
Cannot make.
Nothing else. You must discuss one case.
Prime Minister is speaking only for 36 seconds. Parliament में.
What is more important?
इसी
the
का
action
प्राइम मिनिस्टर
taken
उंगली में
or
चोट
the
लग गया
word spoken?
क्रिकेटर को तो आप बोलते हैं उस पे, और आज मणिपुर जल रहा है पिछले 3 महीने से, हमारी माँ बहनों को जिंदा जलाया जा रहा है, घरों में आग लगाया जा रहा है,
आशुतोष जी,
उसे आवाज नहीं निकल रही.
Hold on a second, sir. I think now Shantanu Gupta and Dr. Naval Kishore need to speak. Shantanu Gupta, the lasting problem is that while you can go around and question the inaction of other states, here was a BJP government that sat on an FIR for 70 plus days. That cannot be denied. It also cannot be denied that there are several other such crimes where the action of the police was found wanting. That you cannot shrug off by saying even the Bengal police was terrible. Yes, they were terrible, which is why the BJP protested. Now what about Manipur?
I think when we were comparing Manipur and West Bengal, I think my limited points and others also I think agree, was that there's a problem in Manipur, there was a problem in West Bengal.
Now talk about the delayed action.
Problem in Manipur, in response there is a CBI probe, Nityanand, the minister is there are multiple rounds of talk.
CBI probe is now. No arrest had happened.
Exactly. No, multiple arrested. Multiple arrested already happened.
This happened in front of
no,
the
no,
police.
no, no,
Right?
no,
And
Again,
the debate in the parliament is allowed. The debate in the parliament is welcome.
Out there, because I think I need to clarify on the CBI probe. There is one CBI investigation which was already instituted into the violence that happened.
Yeah.
But the one into the gang rape
Into the video.
and the stripping video,
And the stripping video
has
has
been
been
asked for
instituted
by the
yesterday.
government
Exactly.
only now.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
Because there was
And
no
no
video.
arrest took
There
place.
was no video in place. Arrest took place today. 7 people have been arrested.
Dr. Ajay Alok, the state government doesn't need a video.
See,
The government needs
7
to act on FIR, not on video.
No. What I'm telling
As
you.
a rape victim, nobody should have to provide a video.
No, you don't have to provide a video.
Yeah.
You don't have to provide a
One of the strong
video. The FIR was registered on 18th May. The first FIR about this rape
Yes.
was registered on 18th May, right?
When was the first arrest?
No, the first arrest was being made now.
Exactly, 2 months later.
When the video came out later, because they were investigating the case. CBI was already there. CBI was already there.
That delay,
See,
that reflects about the character
You
of the
please don't
government.
say about law and order. I don't want to listen from RJD regarding law and order. This is the biggest joke of the century.
You take
RJD calling law and order. No, that's Ashutosh standing next to him.
What, Dr.
Ashutosh, RJD calling on law and order. So you approve that?
I'm telling
Okay.
You approve that?
you are handing them with Nitish Kumar. You are handing them with Nitish Kumar. You are handing them with Nitish Kumar.
Dr. Naval
I
Kishore.
understand
Dr.
the whole
Naval
lesson.
Kishore, yes.
What I am trying to say that the BJP can create a drama as it created in Bihar, where a death was. Please listen. Police, you know what all happened? What all happened? All MLAs of BJP went. The dead body was brought to the headquarters. 4-member committee went to fact finding, which went to the person at the first day gave and
See how they come to their state.
See how
they come to their state when the matter comes to them. But we shouldn't discuss West Bengal.
Please.
Now he's talking about Bihar.
Just
He
listen.
forgets Manipur.
Just let me come.
Beyond Manipur. Beyond Manipur.
Let me
See,
ask
this
you.
is
Naval Kishore जी,
I'm just
बिहार में
trying to-
प्रोटेस्ट में कल गोलियां चलाई गई
अरे
प्रोटेस्टर्स में।
गोलियां चलाई गई यहाँ पर तो मास किलिंग्स पे कुछ बोलने के लिए तैयार ही नहीं है
लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को आप टिप्पणी दे रहे हैं तो पूछा मैंने
Again,
you
we
have
are-
got a bunch of people who are directed by a bunch of thought. They will not allow anybody to speak,
Yeah, okay,
and that is
again,
the
because
reason
we
why
are-
there has to be no confidence motion in the public also, not only parliament.
ले आइए,
And that is
आपका
for
ये मजाक
reason is that
ले आइए,
one
मजाक
must
आपका
understand
हो
the
रहा है।
problem. One must understand the problem. The no confidence motion, the main intent is that the Manipur
embarrassing
must be
yourself.
discussed. It will be discussed by each and every party, and BJP will be exposed.
Okay,
Exposed. That is the main.
Okay, I am going to leave it at that.
No. The biggest joke of the national debate is RJD speaking on law and order.
The BKS,
Okay, we are again
what
going
is
to go down the road.
this is
Gentlemen,
you have bunch of jokers. If you want to find out in
biggest
BJP.
joke.
All right, I
Find
think
out.
we saw in a microcosm here the kind of debate that in all likelihood we are going to see in Parliament as well. But the more important and substantive thing is that it's a very important state for us. It's a very sensitive state for us. Unspeakable crimes have been committed in the name of ethnic conflict, and all the facts should be out there in front of the people of India. It's going to be Team NDA versus Team India inside Parliament beginning Monday. We'll keep a close eye for the time being. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on the National Debate.